Alrighty, so nothing really special as far as scenery today. Today we're just sort of out here by this church I usually fly some FPV at, but I wanted to test the Hero 10 versus the BGH1, right? That's almost an unfair comparison, but this is the best GoPro has ever released. And what I did was, to make this a super fair comparison, I put the Hero 10 inside my dummy BGH1 case and mounted on the drone right now is the BGH1. So we're gonna test these and see, can you really tell a difference between a cinema camera and a GoPro? Let's find out. Okay, so after looking over the footage, it's important to keep in mind that this, the Hero 10, is a $450 camera, and this, the BGH1, is a $2,000 cinema camera. It's Netflix approved, the whole nine. Now, it's going to also be very indicative of your conditions, along with your lighting and how you color grade it. What I was trying to do with these images was grade them both similarly to try to see if you can depict the differences. And I will say this, there is some stark differences between the two. I think most notably with the Hero, you're going to notice a crazy amount of over sharpening. Even though the sharpening is turned all the way down on this, I noticed that there is a tremendous amount of over sharpening in the leaves of the trees. If we look at the BGH1 footage, you'll notice that the trees just look a lot more natural, a lot more pleasing. There is a lot more detail in the trees and the colors look a lot more natural. I didn't do any sort of crazy coloring with the GoPro. That is straight out of camera, which is actually just adjusting the contrast and the shadows a little bit to get them to match. because with the BGH1, I don't put it in auto ISO, and with the GoPro, I had it at a max ISO of 100. The BGH1, the base ISO for shooting in vlog has to be 400. So I was trying to compensate for both of those, which is a little bit difficult. Now the BGH1, I ran through a program called Stead XP. That is this module that is on top of here. Now you're probably, if you're here wondering about the BGH1 and a Cinelifter, and you're saying to yourself, well, how the hell did you get Stead XP to work with the BGH1? Well, I'm using an external recorder on top of the BGH1. And then what I do is I bring it into Final Cut Pro, I sync the audio together, and then I run it through Stead XP, which makes the stabilization work. It's a really simple trick, and it doesn't increase the weight of this camera. This still weighs like maybe under 2 pounds with the lens, fully loaded with the battery, which is amazing. The GoPro Hero 10, we ran through real steady, 4K 60 on both of these in a 30 frames per second timeline. Personally, I think it looks great. I think the thick that we built flies amazing. It's super responsive, and I'm able to get some great shots. I mean, just looking over the footage here, I will say that I prefer the look of the BGH1, the way it renders out the greens. There's a little bit more vignetting in the corners with the BGH1, but that has to do with this lens. Unfortunately, you can reduce it a little bit in the editor, but unfortunately, it has some vignetting. The trees and the leaves just look sort of crunchy on the GoPro. Even though I turned the sharpness down a little bit, the trees still look a bit crunchy. So I just thought this would be an interesting comparison to see if you could tell the difference between a cinema camera and the GoPro. I still think the Hero 10 is doing a great job as far as the images go. I think you get a lot more detail with the new processor, but I still don't think it's going to ever be able to replace like these higher end cinema cameras. Again, it's going to be really depictive of how you color grade it, of course. But I just thought this would be a cool test to show you guys the difference between the two and why people are going to continue to fly these Cinelifters and continue to fly these heavier cameras on these FPV drones. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see more with the Cinelifter, you're into that type of thing, let me know. I will do more videos like that, talk about my tune, my setup, my configuration, because as of right now, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm actually getting ready to build another one so I can have a backup if this one should happen to fail. All right, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Stay original.